Well, welcome. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope you and your families are well. I know there's a lot of illness in the community, and I hope you're doing okay. I know usually I don't get sick, but this year I've had flu, COVID, and the GI thing. It's not been fun. A lot of what I'm going to do today is while I'm going to acknowledge our accomplishments and thank lots and lots of people for their incredible work at the institution. A lot of my focus in this talk is going to be on strategic initiatives in terms of moving the school forward, because really that's where we need to be focused is on the future. So I'm going to divert some from the past. So the annual report has been distributed. If you want a hard copy, just let my office know. We have hard copies available, but we encourage you to take a look at the annual report, and I want to certainly compliment the marketing department for doing a beautiful job. They always do a great job with our publications, and no exception with our annual report. Okay, so I always like to start with the mission.
The mission of the West Virginia School of Osteopathic Medicine is to educate students from diverse backgrounds as lifelong learners in osteopathic medicine and complementary health-related programs, to support and develop graduate medical education training, to advance scientific knowledge through academic, clinical, and basic science research, and to promote patient-centered, evidence-based medicine. WVSOM is dedicated to serve, first and foremost, the state of West Virginia and the health care needs of its residents, emphasizing primary care in rural areas.
I love that video, and I'm so thankful for our fine AVP staff and the work that they do. So how are we doing? How are we doing in terms of meeting our mission? I think, that's sort of primary for us. And so when you look at our mission and you think about what we've accomplished this past year, it's been truly remarkable. So, educating students, well, one, we had a great enrollment year. And so we filled our classrooms. The faculty, under the leadership of the dean, has created a new curriculum for our DO program. We started our first complementary program, something that we have been envisioning for years is now a reality. In terms of research, so many exciting things are happening in the research domain, not the least of which is the creation of a new addition for our research infrastructure. The work of the Center for Rural and Community Health and their outreach to the community, and their continued involvement in the community. Our GME, this is a big week for us. And so far, things are going well, knock on wood, and we'll know by the end of the week what our results are. But, it's one of the most important, if not the most important thing, to see our students go on to great residencies. And then serving, certainly serving our community with our clinical faculty at RCBC and addressing the issues at RCBC, and then finally, serving West Virginia first and foremost. I think we've done remarkably well this year, and I couldn't be happier. When you do a review of the major accomplishments, this is what I see. Last year we had 100% residency placement, big deal. Thank you to Dr. Frank and the GME staff and all the people that are involved to make that happen. We had an incredible HLC 10-year reaccreditation visit, and the report was one of the cleanest accreditation reports I've ever seen. And we anticipate really good news in April. Again, thank you to Dr. Norris and Dr. Linsenmeyer and her staff and everyone that was involved in that effort, because it took years to put that together, and I appreciate all the hard work. Our Finding Health curriculum, this is going to make us distinctive, and so I appreciate the work of the dean and Dr. Bridges and all of the faculty to make this happen. Our MSBS graduate program, thanks to Dr. Garrow and his staff and the faculty involved in finally adding a program to our school. The dual degree program and the MPH dual degree program. Thank you, Dr. Griffith, and those who were involved in putting that together. I know financial aid was involved, and probably the registrar was involved. Our research edition, of course, has been incredible, but it's required a tremendous amount of planning and the work of Dr. Panath and Dr. Pankey and David Meadows, of course, and the dean, Dr. Boyd, and others to make that a reality. The $13.6 million deferred maintenance, which is really going to address a lot of issues on campus and then allow us to use other dollars for enhancements. Realize that Don Smith had a major role in that, and our lobbyists at Steptoe and Johnson. It wouldn't have happened without them. Our new academic management system, which I know has been a challenge, and there continue to be challenges with that, but I admire all the staff that's been working to make that happen. Dr. Linsenmeyer's staff, Dr. Katie Williams, who I hear is like a superstar, and then just all the faculty working together and the staff working together to make that work. The RCBC turnaround. I mean, if it wasn't for this school, I don't think RCBC would exist right now. Dr. Hill's work, David Meadows' work, and our clinical faculty all pulling together to make this a viable entity that's important for the community. Then HR. I mean, HR recruited for 56 positions. That's a quarter of our, no, that's not a quarter. My math's not that good. But anyway, that's a significant number of people. And so Leslie Bixler and her work and the work of her staff just been great. And then finally, the strong enrollment, which keeps us whole. And so Ronnie Collins and the admissions staff, thank you to everyone. And then all of you who truly make WVSOM a great college to work for. Thank you, thank you, thank you. In terms of our numbers, serving West Virginia first and foremost, we continue to be the leader. And I want you to know that the legislators know this. They know WVSOM is number one. So look at these numbers. These are the most recent numbers from the Higher Education Policy Commission. They were published in December. They're incredible. We're the leading producer of physicians overall, so the comparison of WVSOM with WVU and Marshall. We lead overall. We lead in primary care significantly, but look at this number for rural. In this cohort, we put 72 new osteopathic physicians throughout rural West Virginia. That is a remarkable number, and I definitely. And compare it to WVU, together 43. So we tell this story to others, and people are beginning to truly recognize what you are doing to contribute to West Virginia, because this is your work. This is because of your work, this is happening. We serve in so many other ways, though, through our clinic, through the Center for Rural and Community Health, through our pipeline programs, through the anatomy program, and then our economic impact and the fact that we are a major job producer in this valley. I think we're number 3 in the valley. So it's really incredible what we're doing here. And I hope you feel proud in terms of what we're accomplishing. And like I said, thank you for your work. This just shows, and this is in the annual report, where our graduates end up. And so about a quarter, about 25% of our grads practice in West Virginia. And look at that. We cover the entire state. 52 of the 55 counties have WVSOM grads serving West Virginia communities. But we can't forget the fact that 75% of our alums, and that includes West Virginians who go outside of the state. And so we're serving the entire nation now. We have alums in every single state. And so we're proud of all of our alums. We're proud of all the accomplishments of our graduates. It doesn't happen without leadership. And this is our leadership team, and it's an incredible team. I am indebted to them in so many ways. The people I work with on a daily basis, I mean, they are incredible, hardworking, dedicated. They are people of integrity. They are people with high ethical standards. I learn from them all the time. They move this institution forward, and they care about this place. They care about you. And so I am so thankful to my leadership team. Our Board of Governors. We have a supportive and an engaged Board of Governors, and I appreciate that. I appreciate the efforts that they make to move this school forward. Realize that every single member of our board truly cares about this institution, and they show it. They're passionate about this school. And we've had excellent leadership. Dr. Belt has been an excellent chair, but Dr. Morgan as vice chair, our own Ms. Marley Kirby, our secretary. But then I want to acknowledge the contribution of our committee chairs. They put countless hours into their work. So Sharon Hall, who has done a remarkable job as the finance chair. Dr. Peter Ward, leading the academic committee. And then Dr. Caitlin Santer, leading the institutional policy committee. I also want to acknowledge the contributions of our student rep, Ethan Galloway, who is a remarkable leader already in the osteopathic profession. He already has national positions. He's really a remarkable person, like so many of our students. But also the contributions of all our board members have been important. The contributions made by Dr. Poling, by Dr. Mascari, by Tom Cole, by Dr. Fitzwater, and by Dr. Smith as well. And Dr. Smith has had to unfortunately resign from the board, and we're working with the governor to find a good replacement for him. Again, the board has been supportive and wants to see this school flourish and move forward. But I tell you, nothing happens without you. You are the reason for our success. And as I've tried to convey to you, I am truly grateful for your work day in and day out. Thank you. But here's the thing. We can't focus on past achievements. You know, we need to continue to move forward. We are in an incredibly competitive market, and while we're doing great right now, we want to do great 5 years from now, 10 years from now, way past, my tenure here. And that's my goal. My goal is to ensure that when I leave, that this school is in great hands moving forward. And so the rest of the talk is going to be focused on strategic initiatives and where we're going. And I'm going to use our strategic planning documents. We've done a lot of focusing on strategic planning this year. And my goal is to get every single person here thinking strategically. It's important for the institution. Everybody has a role in this. And it's about moving the institution forward strategically for the good of the institution. So when you look at our pillars that we've created, they make a lot of sense. The first pillar, educating. The first pillar is all about what we do, education. So it's about curricular development. It's about new programs. It's about what we do. The second pillar is all about research and clinical service to the community and community service to the community. The third pillar is about taking care of us, taking care of employees, taking care of our culture, ensuring that we have a culture that people are attracted to. And then the fourth pillar is all about sustainability. It's all about making sure that we are viable into the future. So where are we in the planning? Well, we're still working on the draft. You'll see I want to acknowledge the work of Dr. Linsenmeyer, who has been very involved in moving our strategic plan forward and working with Josh Mintz. And what we're going to do, we're continuing to tweak the pillars and the goals, as well as the vision and the mission statements, and move that forward to the board next week for their approval. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start rolling this out. We're going to ask every department to create a strategic plan, every office to create a strategic plan, so that we can move forward together. And this is not going to be something that's going to sit on a shelf. I mean, next year, we're going to be talking about strategic plan, and where are we in our strategic plan? What goals have we met? What metrics have we met? And I'll talk more about that in a minute. So I'm going to focus on some of the specific goals. I don't have enough time to talk about everything. And I apologize if I miss an area that is important to you. But I want to hit some of the most important, what I think are some of the most important points at this point in time. So when we did a lot of surveying for the strategic planning initiatives, to create the framework. And the number one concern, the number one challenge identified was enrollment. Now, again, as I said earlier, thank you, Ronnie. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, admissions staff, and everybody that's involved in admissions. Our enrollment's strong right now, but we want to keep it that way. And there are definite challenges. So, you know, the first pillar, the first goal I want to talk about, because we all have a piece in this, is recruiting and matriculating students to this school. And notice that it's not just DO students anymore. We have to think bigger than that. We have graduate students who we're recruiting for now. And we're going to grow other programs at some point. So it's bigger than that. Recognize that everybody's involved, from administration, faculty, staff, and students. We're all part of this process. This crosses multiple departments that have to work together to make this possible, and I'm appreciative of that work that's being done. This is a big goal. This is probably the most important goal that we have. Because why? Admissions equals enrollment, equals our students, equals it keeps us financially whole. These are, again, from the annual report, and you can see that about 25% of our students are coming from West Virginia. That's important to us. Now, that pool is continuing to go down. It's going to continue to be a challenge to recruit. But, you know, I think creating those pipelines, and again, Dr. Griffith and the work of others to create those pipelines, and they're beginning to work, is so important to us. But we also got to recognize that 75% of our students are coming, it's actually probably more than 75% are coming outside of the West Virginia. Well, we appreciate all of our students, and attracting students from other areas is critical to our success and needs to be a focus as well. We can't just focus on recruitment of West Virginians. We need to focus on enrollment as the whole picture. And again, 75% of the students are coming from outside of West Virginia. So there are significant challenges. I think a lot of you know this, but here are some of the numbers. So this is from the AOA COCA website. There are now 42 colleges in 67 teaching locations in 35 states. This is a profession that is truly growing. 25% of all medical students are DO medical students, and that number is anticipated to grow in the next 5 to 10 years to 1 in 3. 1 in 3. So you can see on this slide, we already have, here's the competition. There are 6 that have been pre-accredited already. 2 of them in our backyard, Pittsburgh with Duquesne and Hagerstown where Meritus is. But there are also proposed comms, and I think this is probably not a complete list. So there are, there's no question that the growth of the osteopathic profession, which is a good thing, to have more DOs in our medical system, also is putting strains on the comms, strains on the schools. Competition for applicants, competition for clinical rotation sites, competition for residencies. So we got to stay focused on the goal. But the other thing is we have demographic changes going on in the country that's going to affect all the schools, not just medical schools. And it's already affecting the institutions in our state and other states. We saw the collapse of Alderson Broaddus. This is a school that was in existence for over 100 years. Over 100 years, and they went down, and they went down fast. So we need to pay attention to this. Demographic changes, fewer high school students. There were few babies born, back then. More educational opportunities. A lot of stuff online now. You don't have to go to college anymore. And so there's a lot of people who are choosing not to go to college. We don't know how this is going to affect medical education, but I have a feeling it's going to impact it. So there are solutions. And the thing is already a lot of these solutions are in place, but I want to emphasize the fact that we can't take our eye off the ball. I'm a big baseball guy. We can't take our eye off the ball. And so in my mind, it's 2 things. One, you got to create that environment that people are attracted to, and we're doing that. And then the second thing is you got to make sure people know about it. So when I say the environment, it means quality faculty and staff. And we have that. Faculty that are dedicated to their students. We have that. Being an osteopathic school, having a strong OPP department. We have superstars in that department, nationally recognized. But all of the faculty is so important to our success. Adding our curriculum, the new, the Finding Health curriculum, but also the innovative curriculum for our master's program. This is so important because it attracts students. They get interested in this. But also paying attention and making sure, for example, our DO program, adding ultrasound. It's critical. Having facilities that are modernized, state-of-the-art. Of course, we're so, the testing center has been a great addition, and we can't wait for the research building. But people are attracted to our campus. We know that if we can get people to our campus, it goes a long way to convincing them to come here. The other things that are important, too, is co-curricular activities. Students care about these things. The dual degree program, with the MBA and the MPH, these are important to us. What other types of programs can we grow? And then the things that I think really could make us distinctive, RHI, wilderness medicine, and then our global medicine, all important. Because this is what students are looking for, is something distinctive, something exciting. And then this beautiful place that we live in. And then I really applaud the admissions department. Accepted Student Day has been a great addition, and the other events and activities and the work that you do. But the other side of it is marketing this. And so that's a critical piece, is the marketing of what we have, ensuring that our reputation is solid and that we have visibility. And so advertising, social media, our website, we have a clear mandate from strategic planning that we got to do something with our website, that we have to improve our website. That is our window to the world. And then, of course, we have to be concerned, and I know you are, and I know a lot of effort's being placed on this. Board scores, it's part of our reputation. And then residency placement. So you can see how we're all involved in this. And for us to continue to be successful into the future, we have to pay attention. We can't take our eyes off the ball. So now I'm going to jump to pillar 4, and because this I think is the next most important goal. We have to ensure financial stability, because we all know pretty much everything requires money. And so we all need to strategically think about how we're using our funds. And everybody has a role in this. I mean, we have excellent financial leadership with David Meadows. I couldn't be more grateful for his leadership. And a great staff in the OBA. But we all have a role in this. And I want to thank those of you who made an effort to help balance our budget, because David and his staff, Stella, thank you, are bringing a balanced budget to our board next week. And that has been a challenge. That has been a true challenge to do that. And I'm going to talk about some of our challenges. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, okay, there I am. I'd lost my train of thought there. It was a true challenge to right side, to balance that budget, and I really appreciate the efforts by everybody who contributed to that. So what you can see, and this is from the annual report, we're strong financially. I mean, you can see that our assets have been increasing every year. And that's good. That's a positive sign. There are lots of positive financial indicators for this school. We have the strongest the strongest composite financial index in the state. We're an outlier. Every year, HEPC puts us off as an outlier financially because we are so financially strong compared to the other institutions. In fact, we are the most financially strong institution in the state in a lot of ways. But the point is we want to stay that way, and here's part of the problem. When you look at this graphic, and it's a little hard to see, so I encourage you to look at the annual report. Operating revenue and operating expenses. You can see that the operating revenue is not meeting the operating expenses. And this has been going on for a number of years. That's a problem. That's a big problem. That our revenue, our operating revenue is not meeting our expenses, our operating expenses. Now, we have money. I'm not saying we don't have the dollars. And so we're using our dollars from other sources to shore that up. but we have to address that issue. And I know that Sharon Hall and the Finance Committee, Dr. Mascari, and others on that committee, Dr. Fitzwater, and of course led by the work of David Meadows, are working on addressing that. But we have to reverse that trend. Our sources of revenue, our main sources are two places: the tuition and fees from our students, and then right over here, and then our state appropriations. Those are our two main sources. There are other sources of money. We get, sometimes we get one-time dollars, which was great this past couple of years. But our two main sources is either tuition and fees or state appropriations. Well, the legislature doesn't have a big appetite for giving schools more dollars. There are schools that are starting to fail. And we'll see what happens with the legislature, but the legislature is also concerned about their budget. So we need to work on a solution. In terms of where our money's going, the great majority goes to pay for our salaries and our benefits. And then, of course, our expenses to run our program. There are solutions, and we're working on those solutions. But we need to, again, you can't take your eye off the ball. We need to make sure we maximize enrollment. And again, congratulations to everyone who made that happen, but especially to our admissions staff. We need to maximize our enrollment in the DO program, but we need to increase our enrollment in the master's so that it breaks even and eventually generates revenue. Any new program that we start or envision into the future, it has to generate revenue. It's great to do things because there are needs, but we have to make sure that we also are financially benefiting from this, because that's what an institution of higher ed does. We need to continue to look at our expenses and improve efficiencies. And again, thank you to everyone who helped out with that this year. It was important. We need to effectively use our reserves, and David is working with the Finance Committee and with the board to make that happen. We need to increase fundraising for student scholarships, and again, I applaud the work of the foundation and the assistance of the Alumni Association to make that happen. We're growing our dollars. We've had to look at tuition and fee increases, and unfortunately that's going to be something that we're going to have to continue to look at into the future. This year we're not asking for a tuition increase. We did last year, 5%. This year we're looking at increasing some of our fees to right-size our fee structure. But this is something that we're going to be having to look at in the future. Of course, we continue to look for state and federal dollars, and we've been pretty successful at getting both state and federal dollars. I mean, realize that under Governor Justice, this school received over $50 million. And that number grows because he was the one that, and along with the legislature, passed a $2 million increase to our state allocation back in 2019. Those dollars just continue to grow for us. Very much needed dollars. And so we continue to look for increasing state allocation. We continue to talk to our legislators about increasing our allocation. But we're also going after one-time appropriations, and that's why we got the money for the research edition. And we will continue to do that. We need to continue to think about new programs and develop those and plan for them strategically. And then I'm going to talk a little bit in a minute about economic development opportunities. This is an area that the school really hasn't explored. And I think it's one that we should. And we have a project that I'll share in a few minutes. The next goal I want to focus on is the long-term plan to build the research enterprise. This is so important to our students, to our faculty, and to the reputation of the school. All medical schools are expected to conduct research. And we do that. We've done that for a long time. But we need to grow that enterprise. One of the things we need to do, and these are important, policy is important. We have a number of research and grant policy initiatives. And so I appreciate the work of Brian Lutz and working with the Institutional Policy Commission to finally shore up our HIPAA policy and procedures so that we can use de-identified data and do more studies using that. But we also need an intellectual property policy. So I've directed Brian, we gotta check these things off. We need a strong HIPAA policy. We need an intellectual property policy. We need to create that research corporation. The other thing I want you to be aware of is we're reviewing. We hired a third-party vendor, and we're doing an external review of our grant policies and procedures. We want to know what our strengths are and where our weaknesses are. And if we have weaknesses, fix them. So policy is important. Often, it's work that, isn't glamorous, but it's important for the school. Of course, the exciting thing is the new addition. And as I said, a lot of work is going into the planning of this facility. Again, I can't thank David Meadows, Dr. Panath, Dr. Pankey, Dr. Boyd, and probably many, many others who have contributed to the design of this building. We're moving forward, and we're really excited about this. We're planning a ceremonial groundbreaking in August. August, because that's a good month to get legislators to come to campus, because we have to acknowledge the people who gave us the dollars, both state and federal. So you'll hear more about that. Don Smith and I are working on that. And then we anticipate construction late 25 and certainly will be in full bore in 2026. So this is the floor plan of the second floor, and clearly what's going to happen is it's going to tremendously expand our research capability, as well as renovate the existing problems in our current space. So it will grow our opportunities, and the goal is to grow our research productivity, to grow the opportunities for our students, to grow opportunities for faculty. And so that was the initial purpose of why I proposed and why I asked Zim to put it in our master plan so that we could then go after the dollars to make it happen. So now we're there. We're going to make this happen. So now the next step is to grow that research enterprise. But here's the next thing. And I am so thankful for this. I asked David Meadows, I said, we got to squeeze out enough money out of $35 million plus to create a third floor shelf. And why do we want that? We have an opportunity to do some economic development. We have an opportunity to attract biotech companies to Greenbrier Valley. We're excited about that. When I share this with our legislative partners, they're excited about that because it's all about growing opportunity in this state, growing jobs in this state, good paying jobs. But it also will benefit the school. It should increase the opportunities for our faculty and staff. It should bring more dollars into the school, otherwise why do it? There's lots of good reasons to do this, and I'm excited about it. And I will say that Dr. Panoff and Don Smith, they're already going to biotech conventions, talking about this and sharing it with biotech companies so that we can attract. And one of the things we hope to do, plan to do at the ceremonial groundbreaking is have a panel, and we have people talking about this. It's a very exciting possibility for us. And this is a new direction for the school. The next pillar is we have a responsibility to improve the health of the community. I've always said that from the beginning, that a medical school should be more than just a place where people get an education to be a quality physician. It's more than a place to do medical research. We have a responsibility to the community. And so we do that in numerous ways. One of the ways we do it is our Center for Rural and Community Health. Realize that this center, for over 10 years, has made a difference in this community. They helped create the Greenbrier Valley Health Initiative, a grassroots organization that identifies the needs of the community. But the work that the center has done in the areas of lifestyle change, helping people reverse diabetes, helping people with their weight management. The work that has been done in terms of the opioid sector, in terms of prevention, treatment, and recovery has been remarkable. And then the work that we did during the COVID pandemic has truly been important to all of us. This is Gwen Klingman, the wonderful woman that did so much for the medical students back in the early days of this school. She fed people for nothing, and people didn't have a whole lot of money. And so that's why we named the Klingman Center after her, because she cared about the community. It's about taking care of the community. It's important, and it's appreciated, and we want to continue to do this. But we also impact the community in other ways. Certainly our Robert C. Byrd Clinic, which has been struggling, is important to us. You know, we want it to continue to be a training site for our students, a place for our clinical faculty to practice medicine, and a place where our community will be served with quality care. We need to ensure, to the best of our ability, to improve RCBC, and we've put a lot of focus this past year on that, and things are improving there. We're working with the RCBC leadership because realize they are their own nonprofit, so we're working with them. But we have more work to do. You know, we need to work on a revised practice plan for our clinical faculty. And we need to look at other things that we know we need to institute at the clinic to make it successful. It's important. It's important for us. So certainly I want to thank Dr. Hill for all of her work in terms of helping the clinic to turn around, but also David Meadows' work, and then the work of the clinical faculty and Dr. Boyd, and now Dr. Fitzwater, in terms of helping us move the clinic forward, because it's important to us. We need to also have a strong clinical network, and we have that. I mean, our statewide campus system is one of the best in the country. We're proud of our statewide campus system and the work that Dr. Rubin and the regional assistant deans and the staff do out there. But we can't be complacent. Again, we're in a very competitive market. We have to continue to maintain and grow our clinical offerings. And that's going to be important for our future success. The other thing we need to do is be a visible presence in the communities we serve. And so I really applaud what's happened in Charleston. And I've directed Dr. Rubin, say, we need to look at all of the signage throughout the state for our statewide campus, because this makes a difference. People know we're in Charleston now. They talk about it. It's important. So that marketing piece, that visibility piece, if nobody knows who you are and what you're doing, it doesn't matter. So that's an important component as well. The other thing I've done is I've directed David Meadows. We need a new economic impact study, because we have an impact throughout the state. And we need to show that to our legislators and to others. We need to make sure that we have effective communication and oversight. This is another really important one. The what's next conversations, and I want to thank Leslie Bixler for encouraging me to do this. These were really helpful to me, and I hope they were helpful to you. I hope it gave you a voice. It gave me insight on numerous issues, including the low morale issue. And here's what I found out. There's inconsistent supervision, both within and across departments. There's inconsistent application of policies and procedures. There's inconsistent communication within and between departments. At times, there's lack of cooperation between departments. And then there's what I call departmental territorialism, protecting your department. We need to be focused on the institution. That's what we need to be focused on, and what's important for the institution. These, I think, are some of the factors affecting morale and why people come to work and say, I don't want to come to work because I got a supervisor that's not doing their job. Or they're making my work more difficult. Or a department's making my work more difficult. We need to pay attention to this. This is all of us. This hinders the institution from being its best. So we're going to do something about it. We have opportunities to improve. So this is what the administration is working on. We're working on a WVSOM code of conduct, and I applaud the work of Deborah Bogan and with the assistance of her department. We're working on that. We're going to refocus on institutional values. What's best for the institution, not what's best for the department or the office or the individual. We need supervisor training, and I've directed Leslie Bixler and her staff to come up with the training. We need to train both current supervisors as well as when a person becomes a new supervisor, they need to go through training. They need to know how to be a good, effective supervisor. We need that. We need to work on interdepartmental cooperation. We shouldn't be fighting with each other. We need to work together. I talked about admissions and how, admissions, while we have a great admissions staff, they need everybody else to help them do their work. It's interdepartmental. We need to be thinking this way. We need to be thinking strategically. And then we need to develop standard operating systems both within and between departments so that we all are on the same page. We're not making it up every time we do it. And so that's where we're going. I plan to continue what next conversations. I think they're helpful. And I'd like to try to do it on an annual basis. And then as I promised at statewide campus, I am going to come and see you. So we'll be setting up a schedule for that. Okay, coming near the end. Infrastructure. So infrastructure's, in addition to finances, I talked about the financial piece. Infrastructure is what keeps us running. It's important to us. So certainly we're going to be looking to technology solutions. And so as we implement our institutional strategic plan and develop departmental strategic plans, we're going to be identifying, defining, and publishing metrics. It's going to be focused on metrics. You know, what changed baseball was numbers. Numbers have always been important to baseball. And it literally has changed baseball as a result in terms of the use of data to make decisions. We need to be a data-driven institution that uses data to make decisions. And so we need some things. One, we need to define the metrics. We also need to create dashboards. And we need dashboards to track and document the metrics that we create. So I've directed Dr. Linsenmeyer to develop a strategic plan for dashboards, and she's done that. She's already pulled together a task force as we look at, well, what dashboards do we need, and what is the priority list? We also need an AI strategic plan. We're behind on this. And so I've directed Dr. Linsenmeyer, who is on national committees for AI, to create a strategic plan, and we'll create an AI task force as well. We already have interdepartmental platforms, but we need to effectively utilize them. One of the new programs is the Legal Purchasing Contract Management System. This is going to improve things. Again, it helps people see what's going on in real time. And then, of course, the IT initiatives, which are numerous. You know, realize our IT staff, we don't run with it. You know, this institution shuts down when we don't have our IT up and running. You know, we close the school when we don't have electricity. You know, some of it is to keep our offices warm, but it's also to keep our computers on. You know, we are so grateful to our IT staff. We are so appreciative. They keep us running. Deferred maintenance, you know, again, I can't thank Don Smith and our lobbyists at Steptoe and Johnson and Bill Perry for helping us get those dollars. We received $13.6 million, and they're going to go towards addressing things like water intrusion in the main building, the roofs that need to be repaired, and then other issues related to safety and accessibility. But then what that does is it frees up other dollars to do other things that we need to do. And that's like refreshing things. Now, hopefully you've come by the main building, and it's incredible the transformation that is occurring in that main hallway. Why did we start with the main hallway? Well, it's one of our entrances. It's the place where people come to meet me, come to meet the dean. So we started there, but we realize that many areas, especially in the main building, need to be refreshed. And we're going to do that over time. It's not going to happen overnight, but we're going to do that over time. The other project that we're going to initiate is we're going to fill what my vision is to fill this place with art. You know, because art lifts the spirit. And so I want to see artwork by West Virginia artists, see photography, both of West Virginia and archival, and then other artwork. And I want to publicly acknowledge my wife, Nancy, who has been passionate about this and has our attempts, her attempts with my help to make that a reality. Realize that the photographs outside of this conference center, Randy Humphreys, local photographer, the artwork downstairs in the stairwell, a very well-known artist, John Clovis, who also is local, now he's up, I think, in the Fairmont area. And then that beautiful seal that Timo Schleif created for us and was donated by Nancy and me. This lifts people. And so we want to continue to do that. We want to continue to grow and beautify our school. And so I appreciate all the work, and I appreciate Nancy's contribution. We need to develop leadership succession. And what I would say about this, I think, it's pretty obvious. We have 4 senior administrators that are at retirement age. I hope the senior leadership team will stay here as long as they feel productive and effective and as long as they want to work. But we're going to see succession over the years. But you need to pay attention within your own department. If your department leader is no longer there, who is there to fill in the gap? We need to be thinking about this. And so it's not just something for senior leadership, it's something for all of us. And so I'm using as an example what David Meadows is doing in his area. He's already creating change and succession plans. And you may have wondered, why is he doing that? Why is Nemitz allowing this to happen? It's because we're thinking about the future. We're thinking about how we can make the place better. We're thinking about how to be more effective. And that often requires change. And change is hard. But I think if we do it strategically and we can make this change. So we've created an assistant vice president position. In fact, we're 2 candidates are, I think, interviewing this week for that position. He's reorganized his areas, the OBA and the facilities area, so that they're more effective. And then he's working with other departments to be more efficient and effective, and has made changes in the purchasing department, working with legal, working with grants administration, and working with Dr. Panath, and then working in the accounting and pulling accounting together. So I want to thank David for his forward thinking and being a leader in this and showing us a way. We need to be thinking about this. The final goal that I want to talk about is, as I've said repeatedly, we're in a competitive environment. One of the ways we need to compete is by growing our foundation. And everybody who contributes to our foundation, thank you. Every dollar is important. But certainly our Alumni Association, to keep our alums engaged with their alma mater, so thanks to Shannon and her staff. But to the foundation for growing our fundraising. It's not easy to separate people from their dollars. It's difficult work. It's challenging work. But it's very worthwhile and rewarding work. And I tell you, we now finally have an annual campaign that's real. That is not that it's planned, it's being executed. It's while we did annual campaigns every year, it's coordinated. There's a timeline. They work with marketing to get all the materials out. We had our first day of giving. We're planning a big fundraising event in November, the first weekend in November. Put it on your calendars. So we're starting to have results, and we're starting to grow our endowments. I think 6 new scholarships are going to be awarded at the Spring Awards at the end of the week. So again, thank you to Donnette and her staff. It's important for our students. In closing, from our family to yours. You know, I say this to everyone. I could not do my job without this incredible woman by my side. Nancy Bulla Nemitz is an amazing person, and I am so grateful and indebted to her for what she's done for me. But I also want to acknowledge Nancy's daughter, now my stepdaughter, Dr. Catherine Calloway, and all the RADs that work in our statewide campus. And then my daughter, who I'm so proud of, Juliana, and the incredible work that Aspire does day in and day out. I am so thankful for my family. It's all about family. It's all about community. It's all about people. We're a family. So let's continue to work together, because this place is great and will continue to be great if we continue to work together. It takes everyone. I am so filled with gratitude for your work and for what you do for this school and this community. Thank you.